So, uh, we are here once again with another Nijisanji EN member graduating. I'm sure that, a lot of us have heard the news that I am sad about that Fulgur Fufu-chan has announced, or Nijisanji has announced, and he has announced that he's graduating from Nijisanji Ian. I don't know what the thing. It's sad. It's sad to me. Fufu Chan is I think one of my personal favorite Nichi Ian members. Like I feel like I like he was generally like a VTuber that I feel like I've personally connected with. But um let's see. Folka explains the reason why he's graduating. Let's check this out. Maybe I can talk about some of my own thoughts, but let's see what Fufuchana, what does he have to say about it?
I didn't want anyone to hear it from anyone other than me first, because I know this is going to be very hard for a lot of you to hear. In a little
Oh my
while, the official
God.
Nijisanji Twitter account will be announcing that I'll be graduating and leaving the company on May the 5th, 2025.
It's a prank, please. It's April 20th. Just go back 19 days. Go back 19 days and it'll be April Fool's joke. No, I'm just
It's not a decision that I made lightly, and it's not something that I rushed into. It's a decision that I've kind of had in the back of my mind for a long time now, but just before the end of 2024, I was set on my decision to end my time as Fulgur and leave Nijisanji. I know that
this is the end of 2024. I mean, obviously there's a lot of there's gaps in between of when you can actually finalize the graduation, or there's periods of you can't just leave. There's a process to it. There's a process to graduating. So it is sad when I feel to kind of hear it's oh, I've been wanting to graduate for a long time now, and it's a long time coming, but it is it is an understandable thing in the sense of there's a process to graduating. I think it's when it's something that's at the back of your mind and it is something that you're thinking about. I think it is that idea of that thought at the back of your mind. It eats at you, right? Like over time, I think it gradually maybe gets bigger and bigger, if you know what I mean by that. I feel like when there's doubt and when you're thinking about making that decision, I think over time maybe it does eat at you and it gets bigger and bigger, if that makes sense.
decision is going to hurt a lot of confidants, and I am so sorry that it will. These past 3 years have meant so much to me, and I've meant it every time I've said recently that you've helped me to become a better person and see my self-worth. With that in mind, I would like to talk a little bit about why I've chosen to leave Nijisanji. But I'm going to do my best now to explain my reasons for leaving for anyone who would like to hear them.
I want to hear whatever you say, Fufu-chan.
To be as clear and concise as I can so nothing gets twisted into any other kind of direction. If you've been watching my content for a while, then you likely, unfortunately, seen me go through spirals of depression and self-loathing often. Mental health issues are just a part of life for me, and while I do my best to manage them, I haven't always managed to keep them out of streams. I'm not saying that streaming has ever been a detriment to my mental health, and in fact, on the contrary, I would even say that streaming with the confidants has actually helped me feel a bit better when I was feeling down. If anything, the times that my mental health hit an absolute low tended to be when I was physically unable to stream and I felt like I was letting people down and I was also letting myself down.
Yeah, because I do know that Fufu-chan does have a lot of health issues. No, I don't really know the extent of them, and of course that is that is none of my business. But it is definitely I mean it's definitely unfortunate.
Things that I wanted to do. My mental health hit an extra low point a few months ago when a project I'd been working on for months and invested a lot into and hired a lot of skilled people to work on fell through. That was a big blow to me and shook my confidence and my ability.
What kind of project could that have been? That I definitely can understand that. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think it's like with anything, right? If you imagine it in the context of if you're any creative, you create something I'm an artist and I've spent a month on this art piece, 3 months in this giant canvas, and then somebody just comes and fucking punches a hole through my canvas and burns it, you know? That could be I could definitely see how, you know, maybe if you're already like spiraling or you're already in like a possibly like a mental vulnerable place and then for you know something that maybe isn't part of an escapism for you to fall through, I can understand how that would possibly make things worse as well. And also, I think that a few months ago, Fufu-chan did take a break, if I remember this correctly, as well. So, you
to
know,
produce anything in the future. Then later on, I suffered from personal tragedies and hit a rock bottom in my mental
oh,
state, which any of you who watch my
oh, damn, I'm sorry, damn, oh,
streams already know about, so I'm not going to bring it up again. I'm
mm,
stating all this outright now because I don't want to hide anything from anyone. Basically, I was just broken down by a lot of things in my life going wrong and had some very dark thoughts, which I had to battle with. Once I had overcome those thoughts, I returned to streaming and life with a new mindset. It really affirmed what kind of person that I want to be and what kind of content creator I want to be. It meant the world to me that you guys were willing to give me so much support and love in my lowest time, and also encouraged my greatest dreams of writing and creating stories, as well as just being a silly anime man on streams. What I reaffirmed in early 20...
what I really respect that he's like you know this is a like hard for somebody I think to share, you know. I think it's a strength in itself to show vulnerability. And you know, because I think that sometimes people put, you know, like celebrities or content creators, you know, like people with an audience and people who have, you know, possibly, you know, thousands of people that watch them. We some people, you know, we like unconsciously like look up to these people, like we put them on a pedestal, and there's almost like a a unwritten expectation or pressure on these people to feel like, you know, I need to be sort of somebody that people can look up to, or I have influence, right? And I sometimes, you know, feel in that aspect, or you know, when viewers have these certain expectations, it can be really hard to share these down points, or share these senses of vulnerability, and saying, hey, like I wasn't okay. And I think that that is something that is, you know, I think good to normalize, which is saying it's okay to not be okay, and that being able to share that is a strength in itself, and vulnerability, and being able, you know, being strong enough to share the fact that you were vulnerable in an instance, I think is a strength in itself. And I have so much respect for Fufu-chan, for Fulgur, for like, you know, being open with that, and sharing that, because you know, mental health is something that a lot of people struggle with, a lot of content creators struggle with, all the streamers struggle with, everybody struggles with it to a certain extent, you know. Everybody has their own situations in life, going through their own things, and I think it is really important to talk about mental health. And I do have a lot of respect for Fufu-chan for sharing that, and you know, being vulnerable, you know.
2025 was the fact that I love streaming. I
Mm,
love making my stories, and I love this community that we've
yeah.
built so much more than I can ever say.
Mm,
As much as I love many of the people at Nijisanji and being a part of something so amazing, it's also become clear that I do not really belong here. At some point, I realized that one of the things that's been detrimental to my mental health is the corporate setting of Nijisanji. That's not to say that Nijisanji is a bad corporation. I want to make that very clear, and I don't want anyone to think that's what I'm implying. I got a lot out of my time at Nijisanji, and I'm in a much more secure place after these 3 years than I've ever been in my life before them.
I think that it's I think what I'm like, my interpretation of that is that he's not inherently saying that it's a Nijisanji only issue. It's more of, it's just being in a corporate setting in general is something that maybe just doesn't, it's a system doesn't work. work. And I think that's something that people sort of need to realize in the sense of VTubing, like corporate VTubers and indie VTubers. I think there's certain indie VTubers that just them as people, them as creatives, just can't work in a corporate setting. And that's with any company because, there's certain expectations, there's certain limitations, there's certain things you can't do in a corporate setting. Um, and it becoming more of like a corporate job. And I think for certain people, I think that can sort of take away maybe their sense of creativity or their sense of you know, creative freedom as a creator and as a streamer. And certain people, I think, can be okay with that and doesn't necessarily affect them. But I think for others, I feel like that can potentially hurt them mentally. And I don't think that's an aspect of like anything against the company or the people in it. It's more of it's just like a fundamental thing of being in a corporate setting, being in a corporate company that can get to you and just not work for you. And I feel like that always, when I've sort of looked at Fufu-chan, watched Fufu-chan, I've always I think that in the sense of like I think he belongs in sense of he's an amazing person. What I connect with him with is that he does these Satsuduns and he has this like chill vibe. But to me, what I love about him is that he's so like genuine. He's such like a humble guy, and I feel like he really cares, and he really puts his heart on his sleeve. And I haven't really you don't always, I feel like, get a kind of person like Fulgur who is so like emotionally aware and so kind and such a like a genuinely kind person. And that's what I've sort of like really personally connected with him with. But what I guess I kind of feel like is I always kind of felt this idea of him maybe not necessarily fitting in the sense of like the kind of creator he is does not really fit in the binary of this corporate setting, like of the aspects of being an idol, like singing, performing on stage, um like things that you would expect from like a corporate VTuber, from corporate VTubing, from an idol. It's not really in the vein or in the sense of the way that Fufu-chan or I view him as a creative. I don't necessarily feel like he fits in that binary as much, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's sad in the sense of I almost, when watching him for the last a couple of months, I feel like it was I kind of felt like it was somewhat expected.
I am saying is that me as a person does not suit being in a corporate setting.
Yeah,
where everything I do
that's kind of what
reflects on a company's
felt
image.
like.
I'm a very free-spirited individual, and I'm also into very dark humor, adult content, and lots of niche interests. That really doesn't suit a corporate setting.
Yeah,
especially not.
He's a big yaoi guy. He's a big Fudanchi guy, So, yeah. So I mean,
one that has investors to answer to and hundreds of employees making their livelihood off of it. Me just having a bad day and saying some stupid thing can be very detrimental to so many other people, and it's a lot of pressure.
You're so saying there's a lot of pressure. Yeah, definitely.
Should have put on someone. Anybody who decides to join a large corporation has to understand that. So while the sheep pile has been a warm and comforting home for these last 3 years, I'm going to have to leave it to achieve the things that I want to achieve. I have more streams that I want to do, more memories that I want to make, and more stories that I want to tell.
It is a very interesting like idea and contrast in the sense of like joining a big corporation, joining a company can open up so many doors for you, and it can open up new opportunities, and it really can help you to achieve new things and do new things. But at the same time, that is certain aspects of things that do close. You know, kind of having to hold yourself back. Maybe, you know, with Fufu-chan, it's like, you know, he kind of has to, you know, because like, oh, like I'm, you know, in a corporate, I'm a corporate, I can't say this, I can't say these things. You know, I can't make content on this particular game, and those things can be you know, limiting depending on the kind of creator that you are and the kind of streamer you are, you know.
I feel confident enough to step out into the world on my own and chase those dreams. But yeah, I don't think Nijisanji is losing too much by losing me.
What? Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't, no, I do not. That is not true at all. It is not true at all, Fufu-chan. You are amazing, and you have made such a big impact on Niji and Noctyx. You will be dearly missed. But at the same time, we know that you know, I know, and I think the confidants and everybody knows that Fufu-chan will be, I think he'll be fine, and he's gonna go out and do amazing things. So I don't know, it's kind of a bittersweet. I always think graduations are bittersweet because, like, if he's doing what he wants to do and he's gonna continue making new opportunities for himself, I'm not necessarily that sad in that sense. I hope that he can, you know, be better and okay mentally and be in a better headspace and do what he wants to do.
And
I
I think
respect
more
that
than
so
anything,
much.
yeah, it's time for me to step forward and go out into the world on my own, essentially. So once again, I'd like to make clear that none of what I'm saying is an attack on Nijisanji. I have my own share of grievances and disagreements with upper management, but those are things that every work relationship has. And compared to lots of other people, I've been one of the incredibly lucky ones with how many opportunities I've gotten during my time here. Even just being able to leave on my own terms and say a proper goodbye is something that I don't take for granted.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And I wanted to do it as properly as I can. Another part of the reason that I want to leave Nijisanji now is that I did see myself becoming resentful in some ways in the past. And I want to walk away from the company now while I
like
can
on a
still
good
treasure
note.
those memories and be proud to
Yeah,
have
so
been
like,
there.
you know, so like that aspect of like, I want to leave on a high and not on a low. And that definitely makes sense.
Worked out very well that the company is flourishing now thanks to the hard work of the livers who share so much of themselves with everyone. On my own side, I did my best not to leave any regrets behind and created memories with as many members of Nijisanji as I could, including all the stuff with Noctyx recently because I knew it was my last chance to make these memories.
So that's why they went in. That's why they went in so in person. Fuck. That's why they did off collab. It makes sense now.
Always be thankful to everyone at Nijisanji who joined me for all my silly ideas. Being able to be a member of Noctyx has been the honor of my life. If any of you don't know, every member of Noctyx came from a similar place of seeing Nijisanji as a last chance kind of situation. I won't speak for any of the others, but for my part, when I got the invitation to join Nijisanji, I'd already applied here and to several other places multiple times. My health was in a bad place physically and mentally, and if I hadn't made it in, I honestly don't know where I would be right now, if I would be anywhere. It's had its ups and downs, but one thing that will only ever be positive to me was the relationship that I formed with Noctyx. Again, there's been some ups and downs there.
Yeah.
We're all human and we have differences and opinions and good and bad days.
I mean, you spent 3 years with more than 3 years, you know. When you have a working relationship with people, even in you know, when you're very close or you have like a friend group, there's going to be ups and downs, going to be arguments. But I think what defines a real, like, you know, true friendship and a true relationship is you overcome those hurdles, right?
So of course there have been issues every now. We were even the first wave to lose one of our members who realized early on that their strengths could be better used outside of a corporate environment. And even in that, it's been nice to see the beauty that's been brought into the world by them. Nonetheless, what I really want to say is that I don't think I would have survived 1 week as Fulgur Ovid if I didn't also have Yugo Asuna, Sunny Briscoe, Albin Knox, and Uki Violetta at my side. And I'm not sure if I'd be walking away nearly as happily.
Oh my god, this is already my heart. My heart. Oh my god. Oh.
Nearly as long and successfully if it weren't for Uki, Albin, Sunny, and even baby girl Mane-san being here for the 3 years that I've had here. They meant the world to me. In the future, I'm excited to cheer them on as a fan since I already know how amazing this community is and they're so supportive to each other too. I'm going to be working on chasing my own dreams and I want them to be free to pursue theirs without my ghost weighing them down. Also, I feel it should be pointed out that the boys knew of my decision as soon as I made it. They were the first ones I talked to after Baby Girl Mane.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is, yeah, that is definitely I, I think that's to be expected, right? I think definitely, you talk about it, right? I mean, because it's not an easy decision. It's I don't think it's ever an easy decision, you know.
So although we're probably going to get emotional and cry our eyes out a few more times on the way out, we've been coming to terms with it for a while.
But I think it's one of those things where it's like when it's really like when it's here, it hits you, right? Like even if you had like months to prepare, like it's like, oh shit, it's finally happening. It's like then it's like it hits you, you know. It's like, oh no.
They accept my reasons for graduating and support my decision because they want nothing but the best for me as I do them. As I said, I just don't think this is the best place for me to be, and we've come to accept that. While being at Nijisanji, I've gotten to develop my skills in a lot of areas, meet incredibly talented creators that have inspired me, and gained valuable insights that'll help me in the future. I'm graduating from Nijisanji not because I feel that I'm better than it or because I don't feel that I deserve to be here, but rather because it was a fantastic opportunity and now I'm ready to do something.
Yeah,
more.
you know, I respect that so much, you know, in the sense of, you know, he's joined Niji, and in these 3 years he's flourished in the sense of he's become the best creator he could possibly be in that aspects from, you know, how he's grown and how he's learnt in being in this corporate system. And over time, you know, it is that reality of when you get to this point, you can stand on your own 2 feet. And if, you know, leaving you know, taking on the world and being your own boss is what's best for you, go out there and do it. Go out there and, you know, achieve things for yourself. And I think that people don't, you know, realize that it is a job. And you can't, you know, not everybody's going to stay in the same job forever. Um, the I think the average for a job is like maybe 2 years. You know, people don't stay in their jobs like 10 years, 20 years, you know. People move on. And I think it is 3 years is a long time. And I think that Fufu-chan is ready to, you know, take on a new path for himself and pursue new things, because it's really that idea of, you know, if he has these new goals and aspirations in mind, whilst being here you can't really pursue them because obviously, you know, you have these job obligations. Being a part of something like Nijisanji takes basically all your time. It's like, I mean, it's your job, right? So you can't, pursue those other things. But I have so much respect for him. I think that, I don't think that you need to you need to validate to anybody, what your reasoning is, or anybody else should tell you it's like, oh my god, your reasoning's good enough or not. It's your decision. I think that whatever that decision, whatever um the reason is valid in any way. But I hope that I hope all the best for Fu-chan. He's an amazing person, and out of so many people, I think he deserves all the best because he is such a fucking kind person. He is such a genuine person, and he deserves, all the love and all the support. And he's worked so fucking hard. He's worked so hard to get to where he is now, and he 100% can go out in the world and be an amazing fucking indie. And I'm sure he's gonna do incredible things, on his own 2 feet, on his own journey. Um, he can be his own boss, and he can go out there and do incredible things. And I am, looking forward to whatever incredible things this amazing guy creates because he's inspired me for so long. I look up to him, not even just as a creator, but I think as a human being as well. And that's why I feel like I really look up to Fufu-chan because it's not even it's good like I said, it's not even just as a creator he inspires me. I look up to him as a human being because his outlook on the world, the way that he talks about things, talks about his feelings, talks about people in general. He has such a kind-hearted spirit. I think he's just an amazing person. I look
The
up to him a
security that it's
lot.
provided me for the last 3 years has been like a dream. Sometimes with some nightmarish moments, but even still, I know that my next journey is going to be much more perilous since I'll be taking it myself. As I said, I've learned a lot while I've been here, and I feel confident to begin that journey thanks to all the support and love that this community has given me, even at the times when I really didn't deserve it. To my confidants, I hope that you'll believe me when I say how much that I cherish this community. Whatever you're feeling right now, whether it is pain, anger, fear, or even if it's joy, since you know I really do mean that I want to make this a positive step, just let yourself feel it. Your feelings are valid,
Your
and you
feelings are
should let
valid.
yourself feel them, even if other people might not understand why this means so much to you. I get it. I honestly do.
I think that no matter what, your feelings are valid. I don't think you should let anybody ever invalidate your feelings or invalidate how you feel. You take care of yourself. Take care of yourself,
Understand that with me graduating, it's not just the fact that I won't be a part of Nijisanji anymore, or that there won't be any Fulgur streams. There's also the feeling that maybe none of this meant anything to me if I'm willing to throw it away, but I promise that that isn't true, even if it might feel that way. One of the things that I love about this community...
I don't think it would ever, never, ever be that way. And I hope that nobody ever feels like, when somebody steps away from something, or, a streamer stops streaming, or YouTube stops uploading, that they, that it's, or a creator steps away, it's ever like, oh, you don't value us, you don't value your community. It's like, no, it's always about this to a certain extent, right? You need to take care of yourself, and you need to take care of your own well-being. And a lot of the time, it is almost like when you have a big community, when you have a lot of people who have expectations for you, you almost you really do almost prioritize those people. You prioritize your community above yourself. And us as people and us as human beings, there are certain points where you need to look after yourself and you need to value yourself. And I think that Fufu-chan is really, he's valuing himself and he's putting his own well-being first. And I think that is respectful. Like, I respect him for that. I'm proud of him for that. And that's a hard thing to do. And I think it's definitely something that if you need to do it, you need to do it. That's how it is,
is the fact that even when I'm not around and I've needed to step away, you've always looked out for each other. And I know that you're going to this time too. So if you need to take some time to separate yourself from the community and reevaluate your priorities and relationships, then please give yourself that time. Process everything as much as you need to. And if you'd like to come back and find us again, we will be there to welcome you once more. If you choose to leave and feel better for it, then that's completely okay too. As long as you take care of yourself and are happy, that's ultimately what matters.
Oh my god. Oh, my heart. Oh. But I'm really proud of him for, making that decision himself and, saying like, yeah, this experience being here has made him a stronger person, a better creator. And now he's ready. He's ready to, I feel like it's kind of like how I would like my analogy of it is like, he's in the baby bird nest, and he's grown up now. He's a grown up bird, and now he's ready to leave the nest and fly and find his own path. And I respect that so much. I think because, I think sometimes for a lot of us, there's complacency and there's comfortability. And because of complacency, because of comfortability, we don't do what's best truly for us. And I think that Fufu-chan is doing truly what's the best for him. and taking the next path for himself. And, I respect that so much. I have a lot of respect for him for it, and I really do respect that he laid it out there in a very, concise, thoughtful, beautiful way of, letting the community, understand why he's come to this decision. I respect him so much for it. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and any feelings that you may have, or sadness, if you are upset by it. Your feelings are valid, and don't let anybody invalidate your feelings, how you feel about this graduation, because streamers can mean a lot to individuals, can mean a lot to people. And never feel bad about yourself for feeling emotions, because that's what makes us human, is feeling emotions and being vulnerable, you know? But yeah, so if you guys did watch the end, I really do appreciate it so much. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. But yeah, please do consider the subscribe button if you'd like to see more Nijisanji ENVs in the future. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.